This is a Ventra Pro video on adding and then setting up a feeder onto a Ventra Pro controller. So we're going to start off with adding it by going to System Setup and then arrowing down until we get to press Enter to add a control device. We'll hit Enter and we can plus or minus through this list until we get feeder. In this case, we'll just call it feeder number 1, zone number 1, since we're only using the single room. In this case, module needs to be number 1 because it'll be one of the relay channels in this box. And the channel we'll set it for is, how about if we just use 17, enter to continue or confirm rather. So now we've saved that. We can either go to System Setup right and left until we find the feeder, or we can just go to the hotkey here on 17 and we get to the feeder. Now the setup in here is that you can have up to 30 age and time of day settings put in here. So the only control we have on feeders is to either have some alarms based on using a feed sensor, which is a separate video, or in this case with the feeder itself is to run it for a period of time, and it's only in hours and minutes that you can do this in the Ventra Pro. So we've got time of day that we can set. So if it's set at zeros, it's just going to it would run continuously in auto, assuming we have an age of at least 1. So if you're only going to use one age, you might as well set each of these for 1 day of age. We'll arrow back on the time to get to the hours, and we'll just choose a 5 o'clock in the morning. This is just an example. It might be typical of a hog application for a finisher, where they would run this to fill up the feeders and then just save some wear and tear on the equipment, so that as soon as the level goes down, it doesn't run the fill system again. So it's only going to be turned on and allowed to run until it fills between 5 and 6. So after 6 o'clock it will be full. Then we'll just leave a 2-hour period for the fun of it. We will choose this one then to be 8 o'clock to 9. So we're just doing a 2 hours off, 1 hour on for a run. And then each time we get a different slot in this, and up to 30 slots. And you could have a different run time for different ages as you wish. In this case, by just doing the day 1, we're doing it busy doing things instead of talking. So it does give you the ability to just have a single set of settings, and then it saves some of the wear and tear on the equipment. So and we could continue on doing this for taking up 6 slots to do the daylight hours and a little beyond to make sure that those feeders are full. So, and if you want to go back through these, we can minus through the steps. The same thing if we were to plus on after 3, it would give us a blank number 4, and we could have up to 30 slots. So the feeder settings, we have the age and time. The other thing that you can set as you arrow down is run for. So this is hours, minutes, and seconds, and you could use this for something like let's say you come in the morning and the feed had bridged in the bin, and that nothing was coming through to fill up the feeders, but now you're in that off period and you don't want to manually leave it on with the toggle switch. So here you could just go ahead and say, I'd like to let it run for 1 hour. And by doing so, it'll just start counting down. and it'll leave that channel on until you come back. So that's just one of those are the only settings we've got. It's really by time and day, the time of day that we've got that we can set it. And once that this function runs out, it just goes back to normal operation. So it's just for a temporary to fill feeders if for some reason they didn't fill, or empty bin and now you want to get them filled. Okay.